So Alec Baldwin made a huge mistake, and he was just recently indicted for a second time on the charges relating to the October 2021 fatal shooting of someone on the set of Rust in New Mexico. And he was originally charged with involuntary manslaughter, and those charges in April of 2023 were dismissed. Now, I previously did a video breaking down everything you need to know about those charges and that dismissal, so you can check that out. Well, I'm about to give you a criminal defense attorney's perspective on the Alec Baldwin indictment and all the recent updates. Hi, my name is Daniel M. Rosenberg. I'm a criminal defense attorney and the founding partner of Rosenberg, Perry & Associates. It is also my personal goal and passion to provide information and education about the criminal justice system before individuals become involved and entrenched in the system. By way of brief background, in October of 2021, there was a fatal shooting on the set of Rust. Alec Baldwin was the individual holding the firearm. Now, when police arrived, Alec Baldwin gave a statement. He indicated he never fired the gun. The charges were ultimately dismissed in April 2023. And one of the main reasons the case was dismissed is because the firearm that Alec Baldwin was holding was deemed mechanically improper. The indication being that this gun could have fired without Alec Baldwin pulling the trigger. That was consistent with the statement. The charges were dismissed. But the government made very clear that these charges could be refiled. And that's exactly what's happened. Since the charges have been dismissed, there's been additional examinations of this firearm. And it's my understanding that's by local government as well as the FBI, and it was determined that this firearm could not discharge unless someone pulled the trigger. As a result, the theory of the case is that Alec Baldwin intentionally pulled the trigger, therefore he's guilty of involuntary manslaughter. So based on this additional evidence, presented this case to the grand jury, and Alec Baldwin was indicted. So now that Alec Baldwin has been indicted, he's pled not guilty, and he's awaiting trial. So, what is the mistake that Alec Baldwin made? Alec Baldwin talks too much. Since this started, there are 3 statements that Alec Baldwin has given. The first being that he spoke to police that night. He provided his initial statement, and from that point forward, he said, "I never pulled the trigger." The second statement he gave was an audio and video recorded statement that he provided to law enforcement. Again, he indicated he didn't pull the trigger. The third statement he gave was to George Stephanopoulos on ABC. He indicated that he was told that the firearm did not contain any live rounds and that there weren't any live rounds on the set. So why are giving these 3 statements problematic? Well, the first thing is, now the state, or the government, knows exactly what your defense is. They knew exactly how to come at you and how to try to erode that defense. If he hadn't given any statements, they have no idea what his position is. They would find that out for the first time at trial if he elected to testify. So at this point, you're giving the government a running head start. Second issue with this is, he gave 3 different versions. The first one was at the scene, where he was probably emotionally charged. The second one was with law enforcement, where he was in an interview room being audio and video recorded, where there's probably a high level of stress. And the third interview was with George Stephanopoulos, which he had time to prepare and get ready for. Each one of those statements, I can virtually guarantee there's going to be inconsistencies, because we're human. You know, what time did you arrive? 10 o'clock. Probably 10:05, 10:15. All right? Are you giving an average, or are you lying about those times? When you give 3 different statements, you give 3 opportunities for the government to say, well, you said this here and you said this there. And then you said this and then you said that. And this entire case comes down to, at this point, because Alec Baldwin has set the table with, I never pulled the trigger. So therefore, now that there's a report that says it can only be fired if you pull the trigger, it all comes down to Alec Baldwin's credibility. And the reason it comes down to credibility is because he made it that way by talking. That's the biggest mistake he made. So this happened in New Mexico, which exposes Alec Baldwin to up to 18 months in state prison. Had this occurred in New Jersey, this same offense, Alec Baldwin would be facing somewhere in the range of 5 to 10 years in state prison. So the risks are real. The consequences are significant. And these are all things that Alec Baldwin needs to deal with at this point, partially because he put his story out there. So at this point, the case is still unfolding. We're going to continue to monitor and keep track of what's going on. But in my opinion, this is the type of case that absolutely goes to trial. And at the end of the day, Alec Baldwin's fate, the determination of whether or not he's going to go to state prison or be found not guilty, is going to be left in the hands 12 individuals whom he's never met before. Welcome to the criminal justice system. So if you or someone you know has been charged with a crime in New Jersey, feel free to contact our office. We'll take the time we need to evaluate your situation, give you candid advice that puts you in the best position for the best possible result. If you like this video, please like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And if there's any topics you'd like to learn more about, please leave a comment below or contact my office. I'd love to hear about it. We are criminal trial attorneys. We have your back. That's what we do.